In English, it's called reason d'etre, the reason for being, or in other words, zechus kiyum for the klal and zechus kiyum for the prat. Person has to, when it comes to holidays, a person has to explain the reason for his existence. On what basis do you deserve or merit to have a zechus kiyum to continue? If we hold machadish b'tu b'chol yom tamid, that every day the world is created new, and every day, or every least, we have to make a decision once a year, because we have seasons to do. Depends how you judge. Paskin, we don't hold from Rabbi Yossi or Rav Nassan. We hold that we judge the beginning of Rosh Hashanah and sealed on Yom Kippur for the year. So they have to have a reason to explain your existence. Why do you deserve, why does the tzibur deserve to continue? Not get involved with reward and punishment. Reward and punishment here now means, basically, you show your record, your track record. You see from my past what I've done. My track record is good, therefore, you're assured that this coming year I'll do X, Y, and Z. My track record isn't good, so then why should we keep you going? Because you promise, or you have good intentions. So what value is your promise or good intentions? Because we already have found out that your promise or good intentions just peter away. So on what basis? Now, we have rules and regulations of Dinei Shamayim and Dinei Aretz. Dinei Aretz has its function. Each individual has its reason, has to have its own schus, and the klal has to have its own schus. The klal has to work. There's Dinei Adam, again, for the klal and the prat, and there's Dinei Shamayim for the klal and the prat. And each one has a different orbit of feeling or reference or whatever it may be. So it comes before Rosh Hashanah, and those are the questions we have to answer. The Almighty promised that, for example, let's talk about Torah, according to Shitas HaRambam, that a certain quantum amount of Torah has to be learned. Very nice. Who says you're the one to be selected because you want and desire, you're the one that selected to see there's more Torah in the world? Maybe not. What right do you have if you're not following the Rambam system? And we follow from Rav Shach, not Shach, from the Shach and the Ramor. And then you have a right to say, well, I'll try. Or I'm going to put myself in the matzav. But according to Shitas HaRambam, we mentioned that a certain quantum amount of Torah should be in the world. What's it got to do with you? It's going to be in the world with you or without you. If you happen to learn, good. If you don't learn, also good. There'll be Torah in the world. It's not hinged upon you to have that quantum amount of Torah in the world. Klal Yisrael will exist with you, without you. We'll kill 6 million Jews of tzaddikim and tahorim and kedoshim in Europe, but Klal Yisrael continues. He selected America, he selected Israel. He'll continue. Klal Yisrael continues. What schus have you got to be in Klal Yisrael? Klal Yisrael has its rules to continue. What right do you have to be in Klal Yisrael? What right does your unit have to exist, or the reasons for existence? And the same thing with the individual. What's the reason, what's the right, what's chus kiyum do you have in order to say, yes, I want to live, I deserve, because you want, because I like to. Wanting and like is nice. Those are dreams, that's imagination. If you'll say to me through the quantum measurement of tefillah, so the quality of your tefillah is what it is, because the mitzvah of tefillah has certain weight and measurement in the action of the value of whatever it is. It can be tzedakah is another quantum measurement in order to do something. But because you have these segulot, these magical rabbit's feet that you're rubbing, or you want to say to Yud Gimel Midos, true. It's not, we know the formula is, Lo Yoshev Reikam. It won't be empty, but what would you get? You can get what you want, you can get 1/60th of what you want. It doesn't mean because you want and you did, therefore, in the same proportion, the same amount, that's what you get. And then you have to examine yourself. Where would you put your learning? Lishma or lo lishma? Or just E for effort? Where is that box? Because you feel good about yourself because you're learning, and you feel good that you do certain things. Therefore what? In the scale of whose scale and whose measurement is the deciding factor. Now the fact that a person lives or a person gets things doesn't mean that he deserves it or he's in the box. Could be that it says in Old Chazal, when you're in the pocket of the Yetzer Hara, and he feels that he can do anything with you, so then he says, I better get this guy to learn in the base medrash. So he brings him to a Bali Tshuva yeshiva and gets him to do tshuva and learning Torah, because he's got to get him excited and build him up with muscles in order to learn, and then he's able to handle him again. But as he is, on what he is, he's just a thin, lean guy, so the Yetzer Hara leaves him alone. So because you're learning, you did tshuva, therefore what does that mean? What, how do you define it? How would you define it? How does it fit into the zechus of kiyum in order to be in that box? We have tzaddik, viralo, rosh v'tovlo. So you can't look at, well, I see I'm successful. I see I'm making money. I see I'm learning. I see I have svaras. Very nice. Maybe in your svaras there's gaiva, and then therefore the Yetzer Hara pushes you to gaiva, and therefore you thought you won the battle and you lost the battle. So in the quantum measurements that are there in order to, in the box, or we say differently, under what category would you say you belong to Chus Kiyum? The Rachmanis one, the Chesed one, the Yud Gimel one, Yud Gimel Midos one, or you're in the deserving box? Which box? Are you in the Beinoni box? Are you on the Tzaddik box? Where are you? How do you classify yourself? And are you fooling yourself in the classification of who you are and what you are? And even if you make a promise, I will, I should, I'm going to, and I'm trying, is there a commitment there that Hashem could say, he's an aid, that you're lo yoshev od, you will never return? Is that a type of commitment that you have or made that can be in the box called lo yoshev od of tshuva? Or just in the box of E for effort, trying, want to, desire, should, would. And is it possible for man to know himself? Al tamin ba'atzmacha ad yom moscha. Can you believe in yourself? You can feel you're strong in way and everything. Or Hashem has to turn the dials and change things. And then where are you and who are you and what are you? You who thought you took nice and sweet or a kind guy without cars, all of a sudden, bingo, with chas v'shalom, like car accident, somebody goes in your way, and you're frustrated. You the kind, warm, concerned, caring for the underdog, who knows what, all the thoughts. All of a sudden you turn out, what are you? You look at yourself, where am I, what am I? So it comes out that a person has to make, we're not talking about in terms of tshuva, we're not talking in terms of schar v'onesh. We're talking of, in simple terms, the world calls it reason d'etre, which means the reason of being. So we have in our Mussar books called Ma chavasa be'olama. What is your goal in the world? What's your obligation? Your chiyuv. And you have that chiyuv, and you line yourself up. But in truth, you have to answer. What is your reason for being this? And if they ask you, why do you deserve to live? Under what category? Under what seif of the Torah? Under what? You'll say, Zechus Avos, the bris of Avos, the bris. Like we said yesterday, according to Rav Isaac Sher, there's a din in bris, and in the din of bris there is you do the mitzvahs or you do averis. But any way you do, the din of the bris is, the t'nai of the bris is that if you do good, you get rewarded. You do bad, you get punished. So now, if you accept your punishment, belev sholem, so then you reinforce, and you're reinforcing the bris. So even though you're bad, by reinforcing that this comes from Hashem, you reinforce the bris, you're in the parsha of bris. Same thing with a Jew, according to Shittas Rambam. If you feel you identify yourself as a Jew, you're born a Jew, identifies, you're in the parsha called Jew. So if you're a parsha of Jew, you can be a good Jew, you can be a bad Jew, but you're in the parsha of Jew. Jew has certain halachic meaning and connotations and meaning. Kol Yisrael yesh lam chelek lo mahava, so you'll be in the chelek. You have a possibility, who says you get it, so you have a quantum measurement of explaining why you have existence. Why should you be alive? Why should the tzibur exist? Why should the tzibur exist? Under what basis? Because we won? Because it happened last year? My Rosh Yeshiva always says that a yeshiva is every time, every day that a yeshiva comes into existence like a new creation. It's not that pshat is that because the yeshiva was yesterday, the yeshiva is today. What was yesterday? It was yes. We had the Beis HaMikdash yesterday. Doesn't mean we have the Beis HaMikdash today. What zechus kiyum do we have to have a Beis HaMikdash? What zechus kiyum do we have to bring the Mashiach in our days? Because we say ani mamen. Is that sufficient? You have to pray with all your heart. Maybe. That's what Lubavitcher told you. Pray with all your heart. And he blamed the people that are not praying that he should be. So he could have been. He had the possibility. And okay, could be. Maybe that's the formula. But there has to be a formula. Has to be a measurement. Has to be a amount of kedusha that's needed. Because kedusha is a quantity that can be measured, doubled, subtracted, in order to be able to have a zechus kiyum for the tzibur and for the yochid. Now, it could be a state of being with beliefs. It could be a problem of your beliefs. Do you really believe in it? Do you really have amunas chachamim? When the Torah says something, would you put your life on it? Or no, you just say it. If I say, my biggest proof, I said, you believe Hashem is in the world? Yeah. You know Hashem is right here? Yeah. What's the right? Kodesh, Hashem, Kodesh. Good. If he's here, how are you acting? How are you feeling? Do you feel his presence? Do you feel his presence like Amar Avinu felt his presence? Or do you feel his presence like a buddy, like a friend? He can see me do my bad deeds and I don't have any fear. When you get up in the morning, are you doing things b'tznius? Do you feel God's presence in the morning in your room? And when you put on your clothing, do you have that state of being that you feel his presence and you have shame of what you do and how you do? What measurement? Give yourself a mark from 0 to 100. How do you feel God's presence? In the morning, in the afternoon, when you're in the bathroom, mokom tsanua? Or is it just a habit that you have that you're tzanua. And you take off your clothing, you feel immodest. But nothing to do with Hashem's presence there, that you feel His presence there for your tzanua. So then you got to have a quantum measure. Whatever you do, what box is it fitting into? Is it on a shimulumada? Is it in the law of habits? And is it a matter of frumkeit? And frumkeit has a reason. Frumkeit is very important. For those that are not strong internally, they need structure and form to hold on to. When you need structure and form onto, you change the structure and the form, you collapse. So you have to have structure and form in order to give yourself that strength. Some people need it. Those that need it, need it. So there's a reason for it. Everything has a reason and a purpose. And if that's your structure, so then you could have to say that, look Hashem, I'm trying my best to keep in. So I have all these type of rules and regulations, or nedorim, or habits, or gzeros that I made in my mind in order to keep me into the box. So therefore it's good. If you're in the box, good. If you're just external on the external things, you don't have the box inside. It doesn't produce the Yirat Shamayim, doesn't produce the Avos Hashem. So then where are you? Which box are you in? You have to have a box. You have to have a category. You have to find out what is the schus kiyum for the tzibur, and what are you in that schus tzibur? What's schus for the yochen? Are you in that box? I asked the people in Yeshiva, and I asked also in Yeshiva. We have a Yishuv, and we have a Yeshiva in Har Tziyon. You have an individual. You have to know what is the schus kiyum of a Yeshiva, what's the schus kiyum of a Yishuv, what's the schus kiyum, you got to know what its purpose is, and what does it have a schus kiyum or not, and how are you involved in the schus kiyum or not, and what is your own schus kiyum for yourself, with the tzibur, without the tzibur. Maybe you're parish minat tzibur, and then you feel that you don't have to dam with a minion, and you'll daven by yourself. We have rules. If you dam b'yochid, you have din, like it says Rosh Hashanah, you have kodim gzar din and acher gzar din, and you have all the halachas of a din or a tzibur. A tzibur has certain rules, and when you're in a tzibur, it's called tzibur, because 10 people are davening together, and and you have hatred to one another. Is that called tzibur? What's called tzibur? Is there a united faction? Is you say, like we said, on the doorpost of the doorpost of Kelem, on the month of Elul, what was on the wall? That you had that was the saying that you have Malchus Kedei Shetamlucheni Aleichem, not on me, but on us. So the question was, do we have Malchus Shamayim on us, the whole yeshiva, or thinking of yourself, your kids, your friends, your yeshiva, or whole Klal Yisrael, Am Yisrael? How are you makabel all Malchus Hashem? Just yourself, that you want to pull through yourself, and you alone want to live? Agav, when you live, you want to have your kids to live, you want your wife to live, because that's part of you, and therefore it's you, or you want to care about your family, or your friends, or the Klal, or Klal Yisrael. What is your old Malchus Shamayim? How do you mitbatei? How do you structure it? Under what category is Aleichem, on us? What's called us? Is it just a word used in the newspapers, American newspapers, called the we? It's called the. In other words, it's just a word, a collective word, or is it really meaningful that when you say Refu'einu, you're really thinking of all Klal Yisrael and you're included in Klal Yisrael? Or really, Refu'eini means me, and just so happens that the ni and the nu in my nusach happen to be the same. But really it's ni and not nu, or is it nu and I'm in the nu, and if I have the ni and the nu? So the question is, where am I? This is the thing, a person has to sit down. I'm handing out papers for everybody to know, first of all, what is the purpose of the yeshiva? What's the purpose? What is the schus of kiyum? And are you in the schus of kiyum? And then with the klal, then you have to know your own personal schus. What's your schus kiyum? And you have to say something. Well, you can say, I'm needed. Who says you're needed? That's in your head. They try to get rid of you. Nobody needs you. Needed. Who says you're needed? You're imposing yourself on your family and your wife and your kids. Who says they want you? They're running away from you. Who says you're wanted? Who says what you do is productive? Is there a need for a change? Change from who? From yourself? The mother? Others to you? Yourself? So this is a din v'cheshbon that's needed. And in Yirtzeh Hashem, by asking certain questions, as we said, we want to direct to certain answers. And then, when you have an answer, the question is, we know is half the answer. And in the answer, you already have to make a chilik. You have to make a hevdel. Or you need to make a dimyon. You have to do something in the answer. Either a dimyon or a hevdel. Or a magdir. Magdir is what? Classification means a dimyon and a hevdel. You have to magdir yourself, what's happening. And that's part of Malchus Shemaim, Malchus of Hashem, is you magdir yourself where you are and what you're doing, and everybody needs it once a year to get that together and to know where he is, and is he an Eved Hashem? Is he really only Ritzoni and he has no personal Ritzonos? Only, and is he emulating Hashem? Is he Mahu Afato? And how much Kedusha and quantum measurement does he have? Yes.
He says maybe it's all, we don't have a schus. It's Daka v'chesed from Hashem.
Good. So you don't have. So you don't. Good. Be a fly. Be a bug. But they also have purpose. A spider has a purpose in that. Could be. Could be you have no schus and no reason of kiyum. And you know, so if anything happens, it happens. That's all. It happens. Don't like that. Me? No, I'm talking to him. That just happens. Or no. There's a formula for that also. The formula that since you have no schus kiyum, so you're relying upon bitachon emunah. Then comes the question: how much bitachon emunah do you have? Are you really praying for rachmanis every day? How is your tefillah? If you have no schus kiyum, so then what are you doing? So you can come on to rachmanis. Are you coming on to rachmanis of Hashem? Are you acting like a guy who comes on to Hashem for Rachmanos? You act like a Balgaiv every day. And if you have nothing, so how is a guy who has nothing relies upon Hashem? What's his state of being and state of mind if he has nothing that he comes on to Hashem? Is that you? Maybe you're saying words, but is that your action? Are they one? Are they two? The question is, you gotta know what is and what's happening. What happened this morning basically was, we started to get to the end of the tefillah. All of a sudden we realized you don't have the shofar. So somebody had to run out and bring the shofar just on time. Just said to themselves, what would it be if we didn't prepare for the shofar, because who else prepared? Nobody prepared. Everybody thinks the other guy's preparing. So then, if you imagine, and halachically, although it's not shaykh now, it talks about Rosh Hashanah. If you don't blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, what would it be? So we know what the Gemara Rosh Hashanah says. Okay, Hashem made it that somebody went out of his way and he brought the shofar in and he blew it on time, and that's talking about before Rosh Hashanah, which is no halacha of not a shaila of halachically in the Gemara Rosh Hashanah having a shofar, no shofar. So I began to think about it myself. I said, hey, maybe Hashem is giving a remez that we have to reevaluate zechus kiyum. That's what happened this morning. I took the opportunity and I said, hey, you have to reevaluate and say it. Anyway, believe that we'll give out papers. I want answers. I don't want to know your personal zechus kiyum on your own self. I want to know the zechus kiyum of the tzibur, your relationship to the tzibur, and then your own zechus kiyum for yourself. That's your business. But the other ones I want to get from everybody. It's very important. Yes?
Is the ultimate position that there's no chiluk between your own personal schut and the potential you put into the tzibur?
Yeah, it's open for discussion. I can't go into that. I want to see the answers. We'll talk about it.